Beat the Warriors without Kawhi on Sunday. They'll run it back for the play-in for the 9-10 matchup in the West. Steve Kerr says Steph will still be on a minutes limit in that game. Danny, does that surprise you?
Yes, this sounds crazy. This is the playoffs. What are we doing
What are we
here?
doing?
We can't have Steph on minute restriction. They also have Porzingis and Al Horford on minute restriction. You have to have all hands on deck, especially with the Clippers, who is not going to sit Kawhi Leonard again. You got Darius Garland playing at a high level, Benedict Mathurin playing at a high level. These teams are coming to play, and you need your guys ready and willing to play full 48 minutes if they need to.
So from the play-in to on the way out, Doc Rivers is out as the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. The team announced on Monday. The Bucks went 97-103 during Rivers' 3 seasons in Milwaukee, with 2 first-round playoff exits and missing the postseason and play-in tournament this year. Milwaukee will now embark on their 3rd head coaching search in 3 years. Shams, what's next for Doc and for the Bucks?
So Doc Rivers will be paid out on his 8-figure salary for next season. That was the last year of his deal. And then the sides are still discussing whether he's going to stay on an advisory capacity. And injuries, no doubt, doomed Doc Rivers' tenure there, from Damian Lillard, Giannis in 2024 and 2025. Then Giannis only played 36 games. But a dozen current team sources tell me that there was season-long tension and disconnect between the players there and Doc Rivers. And now they're going to be on their 4th new head coach in the last 3 years. Mike Budenholzer, Adrian Griffin, Doc Rivers, and now a new hire. So this just starts a summer of change in Milwaukee. We also know the Giannis Antetokounmpo conversations will start to pick up as well.
No question. Perk, how would you describe the Doc era in Milwaukee?
I would rather talk about Doc overall. Doc about to get a jacket, a Hall of Fame jacket. Yeah. I can't help it that the players in the locker room were soft. Doc is 6th all-time in wins in NBA history, 4th in the postseason. You could talk about, look at the list. I mean, people lie, numbers don't. And when it comes to Doc Rivers, my relationship with him is a brotherhood. And Danny, you know this, when it comes to him, when you win a championship with somebody, it's till the casket closed and the gates of heaven open, man. That's how much I'm a ride with Doc Rivers. So, again, I know what he done when I played for him for 7.5 years. I know what kind of coach he was. I know what kind of motivator he was. And things have changed. Yeah. When you talk about coaching in this era of the NBA, we watched Greg Popovich. He had to change. He had to adjust. We watched Rick Carlisle. He had to change. He had to adjust. And let's just call a spade. A heart is a heart. These players are soft now. Like, if you don't have the
mental capacity.
Yeah, man, it's just different. So, again, Doc Rivers, Hall of Famer, enjoy that part of it. Like, I feel like him and the Bucks, the front office, are still in a great place, because if not, Shams just reported they still discussing some type of role in the organization.
Right.
Yeah, tough all for Doc, but he is a great coach. This was a tough stint, said, due to the situation. He said coming in, like, it wouldn't give this job to anybody. But, he's a great coach for good reason. But this is a bad end for, I think, all parties, honestly.
Totally. And Shams, you alluded to this, the Giannis conversation's picking up. He hasn't played since March 15th, but spoke to reporters on Sunday. When asked if he's played his last game in a Bucks uniform, Giannis said, quote, "That's a very good question. I don't know. It's not up to me. We'll see." Went on to say, "I didn't think we were going to be in this position last year, so I don't know what position we're going to be next year. If everything goes well, hopefully the Bucks want me here. Why not? But if they don't, okay." Danny, what's your first reaction?
This is absurd. I mean, at this point, I think he's trolling us. I think he likes to mess
100%.
with the media. I think he likes to mess with the organization, whoever's in the locker. I don't know, but he's just bored maybe. But we know he has more control over than what he says. He has more idea of what's going on and what he wants to do. And when you're a star player, which you should have that type of leverage and power, you have a lot of say-so on what happens. Mm-hmm. So you just need to come out and say it.
Charles, let me ask you a question. So Doc and the Bucks parted ways, but they still might have a role for Doc. So that it got me speculating, because Doc is not going to waste his time, right? He's not going to waste his time on the rebuild.
Yeah.
To me, this is showing all signs that Giannis is going to be moved this offseason and going in a different direction.
Yeah, I mean, behind the scenes, everyone's been very clear. Like, Giannis, his camp, the Bucks have known since last May that he felt like it was time to part ways, that it was time to move on, that The time had come. And the Bucks, we saw at the deadline, they engaged in conversations with multiple teams. They negotiated with multiple teams. And so that's where we were in February. So now when we look into the offseason, I think everyone in the NBA understand where everything is going, where everything is at now with these two sides. And I think coming to the May draft combine, that's where a lot of these conversations will start to pick up. He wants to compete for a championship. Doc Rivers was quoted the other day saying this team doesn't have the players to do so. So that tells you everything you need to know.
Yep.
All right, coming up on NBA TV, what was it?
What can I say? Mamba out.
10 years ago today, the final night of the 2016 NBA regular season gave us dual broadcasts on ESPN and ESPN2. Kobe Bryant's career finale was the co-star to the 2016 Warriors, setting the NBA record with 73 wins on the same night. It was one of the greatest nights in NBA history. Both of you guys, Perk and Danny, played it that night. Danny with the Spurs, Perk with the Pelicans. Perk, do you remember getting in front of a TV after that game to watch?
Yeah, I do remember, and I just remember him getting bucket after bucket after
crazy.
bucket. And you know, certain games that you watch from wherever you at the time, you just feel the energy in the arena through the television. That was one of them ones. And I remember that whole farewell tour. I remember when Kobe came to New Orleans, and I got a chance to talk with him for about 15 minutes. He took pictures with me and my family, and he was just like, "Big fella, I'm tired, bro. It's it." I said, "You ain't giving us one more year?" He like, "Man, I'm done." And but to go out in this fashion, in great fashion like that, is iconic.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I remember I said we were playing, we had a game, but after we're seeing like, oh, he's got like 40 or something like that at this point. I'm like, damn, okay. I think it's more impressive that he also got the attempts because it's hard to get up those attempts.
Right.
And they're like, he's at 50. I'm like, where's he really going to go for 60? Because Shaq challenged him before the game. You won't get 60. And he ended up getting 60. And I was like, damn, you know, he made it happen. And it was electric. And then be able to win the game and then close it out was a very iconic moment.
So, MJ, I was in Portsmouth, Virginia.
It was a youngin'.
I was in a restaurant called Rogers Brown. I was covering the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament, and I was sitting there with a bunch of NBA personnel, scouts and assistant GMs and few GMs and a ton of personnel. Hundreds of personnel was in Portsmouth, scouts it every year, and everyone was just shocked, amazed, like stunned that Kobe Bryant could put up 60 points in his final NBA game. Yeah. He got him up. But he got it in. Yeah.
I was a sports anchor in San Diego, so I was in a newsroom watching this play by play, 100% locked in. My entire newscast that night, or sportscast that night, only Mamba. Yeah. That was it.
Dub Nation, let me ask you something that sounds absolutely insane, but also weirdly possible right now. What if the Warriors are not just lurking in the Giannis conversation? What if they are waiting for the exact moment Milwaukee finally cracks? Because that's what this is starting to feel like. The Bucks just finished a nightmare season at 32-50, missed the playoffs, and now Doc Rivers is out as head coach. Reuters reported today that Rivers stepped down after a year full of tension around the team and around Giannis himself. And when you combine that with the latest reporting around Giannis' uncertain future, oh man, the smoke is getting thick. Now listen to how serious this is. ESPN's recent reporting described the relationship between Giannis and the Bucks as fractured, and one of the biggest details was that people at the highest levels of the franchise believe a trade this offseason is increasingly inevitable. Not next trade deadline, not maybe someday, this offseason, right now. And that matters to Warriors fans because ESPN had already reported in January that Golden State was one of the teams making a strong push and putting a substantial offer on the table for Giannis before the deadline. So no, this is not fan fiction. The Warriors have already shown their hand. They want in. And then you look at Giannis' own words from the new rumor cycle. It's not up to me anymore. We'll see. Oh, that is not the language of a superstar planting his flag and saying, "I'm staying forever." That sounds like a guy who knows the situation is moving beyond him. Add in the tension over being shut down, the contract extension uncertainty, and the organizational instability, and you have the exact kind of environment that creates a blockbuster. The Warriors should be watching every second of this, because when a generational force becomes even remotely available, you do not sit back and act cute. You go get him. And let's talk basketball, because yeah, this is where Warriors fans should start dreaming big. Steph Curry's gravity plus Giannis attacking open space, that is terrifying. That is not fair. That is not normal. Steph pulls defenders out to the logo, Draymond reads the floor, and Giannis gets downhill with no wall in front of him. Good luck. Good night. Curtain. This is exactly the kind of move that could extend the Warriors' championship window in one savage swing. And the best part? Golden State is one of the few franchises that can offer Giannis a real blend of legacy, winning culture, global spotlight, and immediate contention. That matters when a superstar is choosing his next chapter. Now, is it easy? No chance. Milwaukee will want a haul. Giannis's leverage matters. ESPN has also pointed out that the Bucks believe strong offers will still be there this summer, and Golden State will have competition. But if you're Dub Nation, the favorable truth is simple. The Warriors are not out of this. In fact, they are one of the most logical predators if this thing breaks open. And after a season like Milwaukee just had, with the coach gone and the relationship under pressure, this might be the closest the Warriors have ever been to a real Giannis window. So I need to hear from you. If the door opens, should Golden State go all in? Would you cash in the future for Giannis and one last terrifying run with Steph? Drop your take in the comments, hit like, and subscribe, because if this rumor explodes any further, Dub Nation is gonna want front row seats.